chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayit nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagvat sevaya bhagavate yuktam shloke bhaktir bhakti naishtaki. Hare Krishna devotees. Today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, verse number 48 to 60. Verse 48. Yeah. The entire body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, is decorated. He wears a valuable jeweled helmet, necklaces, bracelets. His neck is adorned with the costume jewel, and he is dressed in yellow silk garments. Text 49. The Lord is decorated with small golden bells around his waist, and his lotus feet are decorated with golden ankle bells. All his bodily features are very attractive and pleasing to the eyes. He is always peaceful, calm and quiet and very pleasing to the eyes and the mind. Text 50. Real yogis meditate upon the transcendental form of the Lord as he stands on the wall of the lotus of their hearts, the jewel-like nails of his lotus feet glittering. Text 51. The Lord is always smiling, and the devotee should constantly see the Lord in this form as he looks mercifully toward the devotee. In this way, the meditator should look toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead, bestower of all benedictions. Text 52. One who meditates in this way, concentrating his mind upon the always auspicious form of the Lord, is soon freed from all material contamination, and he does not come down from meditation upon the Lord. Text 53. O son of the king, now I shall speak unto you the mantra which is to be chanted with this process of meditation. One who carefully chants this mantra for 7 nights can see the perfect human beings flying in the sky. Text 54. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the 12-syllable mantra for worshipping Lord Krishna. One, Prabhuji, can you move the screen? It's not, I can't see the last. Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. One should install the physical forms of the Lord, and with the chanting of the mantra, one should offer flowers and fruits and other varieties of foodstuffs exactly according to the rules and regulations prescribed by authorities. But this should be done in consideration of place, time, and attendant conveniences and inconveniences. Text 55. One should worship the Lord by offering pure water, pure flower garlands, fruits, flowers, and vegetables which are available in the forest, or by collecting newly grown grasses, small birds of flowers, or even the skins of trees, and if possible, by offering tulsi leaves, which are very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 56. It is possible to worship a form of the Lord made of physical elements such as earth, water, pulp, wood, and metal. In the forest, one can make a form with no more than earth and water and worship him according to the above principles. A devotee who has full control over his self should be very sober and peaceful, and must be satisfied simply with eating whatever fruits and vegetables are available in the forest. Text 57. My dear Dhruva, besides worshipping the deity and chanting the mantra 3 times a day, you should meditate upon the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different incarnations as exhibited by his supreme will and personal potencies. Text 58. One should follow in the footsteps of previous devotees regarding how to worship the Supreme Lord with the prescribed paraphernalia, or one should offer worship within the heart by reciting the mantra to the personality of Godhead, who is non-different from the mantra. text 59 to 60. Anyone who thus engages in the devotional service of the Lord seriously and sincerely with his mind, words, and body, and who is fixed in the activities of the prescribed devotional methods, is blessed by the Lord according to his desire. If a devotee desires material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation from the material world, he is awarded these results. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, when Kurmati, when you're ready, you can start, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada. I'll start with the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhana Swaminiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashyapta Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, as you all know, we are in from Srimad Bhagavatam. Give me a minute, Prabhuji. Let me just have my Canto 4, Chapter 8, from verses 48. So far, we saw about the very well-known pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. Just a second. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj actually comes in the lineage of Swayambhuva Manu, who is the son of Brahma. And Swayambhuva Manu has two sons, Uttanapad and Priyavrata. So Dhruva is the son of Uttanapad. He had another son also, Uttama. And I'm just giving some background before I start sharing about from verse 48. So we all know that he had two queens, Suruchi and Suniti, and Dhruva is the son of Suniti, and Suruchi is his favorite queen. So when Uttama was sitting on the lap of Uttama, his father, Dhruva also had a desire to sit on his lap, and then Suruchi, who was by nature very envious, she did not like it that he wanted to sit, so she spoke to him in harsh words. So how Dhruva gets angry and what happens later on, we already heard about those verses. So his mother Suruchi actually tells him that if you want to sit on your father's lap, then you should go perform austerities for the personality of Godhead and Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then you can take a birth again in my womb, and that's how you get qualification to sit on his lap. And hearing that, Dhruva becomes very angry, and even his mother, when she hears about that, she also becomes very angry. But even though she's angry, she does not lose her intelligence, and she really guides him very well, that correctly, that how he should really go to the forest and perform austerities to get that qualification. So there, when he's going, even when Dhruva is ready to go to the forest, Narad Muni overhears about this, and he goes there, and he first tries to test him. He says that you are very young, and how will you be able to do this, and says many other things. But Dhruva was very determined, and he really wanted to perform those austerities. So we have seen then how Narad Muni is pleased, and he, with compassion, he starts to guide him as a guru. He takes the position of his guru, and he starts guiding him how he should start performing these austerities, that he can go to Yamuna and then perform austerities there. In that description, he's also now sharing about the beautiful description of the Lord's form. And that in that continuation, like, we can now start reading from verse 48. 48, 49, 50 actually don't have any purports. It just gives beautiful description how Lord is beautifully bedecked with the beautiful jewels like helmet, necklaces, bracelets. He also has a Kaustuba jewel. Just give me a minute. I have some problem here. I'm trying to look at my verses on the Vedabase, but there is some problem here.
Do you want me to share my screen, Mataji?
I think, 1 second, but it's opening now. It's actually become very slow.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fine now. Sorry for that. So text 50, also Narad Muni is saying how real yogis meditate on this transcendental form because he's standing in the core of the heart, on the world of the lotus of their hearts. And he's even lotus, the nails, 2 nails are also glittering like jewels. So this is the beautiful description Narad Muni is giving about the form of the Lord. Now we will look into it from text 51. Text 51 further describes about the Lord, how Lord is in the form who is always mercifully looking at devotees. So we should always think that he is the bestower of benedictions in whatever situation we are in, either happiness or distress. So if we are thinking of the Lord in whatever situation we are in, we should always feel his mercy in that, whether we are in distress or happiness. And Srila Prabhupada says that we should meditate on this form because this is the authoritative way of meditating on the Lord. If we are trying to create our own way or follow something which is not based on the scriptures or which is created by someone else, then it does not give any benefits. So one will be successful in meditation only when their path is authorized. Only when one can achieve the level of trance, when one is always constantly thinking of the Lord. So trance means when one is always thinking of the Lord. That's the reason Narad Muni is describing about the Lord to Dhruva very mercifully. So you can see why he is describing about the beauty of the form of the Lord, because that helps to concentrate on the form. And that's the correct way of meditating. So he is teaching him as a guru how he is supposed to meditate. And since it is authoritative way, Dhruva becomes successful in the meditation that we will see in future. So another point about trance is also given here, that it's not just achieved when we are sitting in your meditation pose, right? It can be achieved in any situation that you are in. Like if we take everything as a service to the Lord, that is also trance. Like we are constantly thinking of the Lord. That's why we see our Guru Maharajas or all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they're always in the trance because we see them always thinking of the Lord. Even outwardly, we see that they are in the material world, but inside they're always thinking of the Lord. So they're always in the trance. Each and every moment they're thinking of the Lord. So we'll go to verse 52. 52 talks about results of meditating on the auspicious form of the Lord. So, such as one becomes free from the material contamination and one does not come down from the meditation upon the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada talks about trance here again, that one who is constantly engaged in the loving service of the Lord cannot be deviated from the meditation state. He also mentions about the Pancharatra system of devotional service for worshipping the deity in the temple, how it helps one to constantly think of the Lord because we are worshipping the Lord. See, so it always reminds us about the form of the Lord. We always have that image of the Lord in our mind because we are worshipping the deity every day. So we can see what is the significance, why Srila Prabhupada has given this deity worship to us. And it helps to meditate on the Lord easily, and that makes one perfect in the mission of human life. That's what Prabhupada says. Verse 53. In this verse, Narad Muni is giving Dhruva the mantra that he needs to chant along with the process of meditation. And he further mentions that one who chants this mantra for 7 nights carefully can see the perfect human beings flying in the sky. So, who are those human beings who are flying in the sky? Prabhupada says that in one of the lokas or planets, it's called Siddha Loka, there are many yogis who have perfected in yogas and they have achieved many siddhis. We all know about those siddhis, like where one can become smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest, lighter than the lightest. So, or some yogis, they can get whatever they want immediately, wherever it is in that world or universe, and one can create their own planet. So there are 8 siddhis like that, and one achieves the siddhi of becoming lighter than the lightest by the virtue of Laghima Siddhi. It's called Laghima Siddhi. One is able to fly in the sky without aeroplane or airships. So it is mentioned that when one is meditating on the Lord while chanting the mantra, one can see such human beings in the sky. One gets that ability, like that's the potency of the mantra. The mantra enables one to see those human beings in the sky. We can't see them with our mundane eyes. One needs to achieve that state by sadhana. So the mantra that can be chanted is also actually confidential. That mantra which Narad Muni is giving is confidential because it is accepted through disciplic succession. Otherwise, the mantra does not act if it is not received in the disciplic succession, authoritative disciplic succession. So that mantra is authoritative because of the results that we see in devotees' life. Even Srila Prabhupada has given us the mantra. And why we think that it is authoritative? Because of the results we see in devotees' lives, right? Some devotees have been chanting that mantra for years and years. So chanting this mantra is the easiest method that Srila Prabhupada has given us. That's a method of meditation for this age of Kali Yuga. And it is the perfect stage of trance where we can chant and see the forms of the Lord. Like Prabhupada says, we can see the form of Krishna, Rama, and their energies. So, but Srila Prabhupada says that we should not artificially try to see that form of the Lord. If we chant offenselessly, Lord Himself reveals that form to us automatically. So Prabhupada says, has always stressed on the point of hearing the vibration of the mantra, right? We have many times heard that we should hear our own vibration of our mantra. So Lord will appear to us. We don't have to make any extra efforts from our side. When we are sincerely chanting and hearing the vibration, Lord Himself reveals his form to us. And that's what is given in the purport by Prabhupada. Verse 54, Narad Muni gives the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya to Dhruva Maharaj. So yeah, this is actually Dwadashakshara mantra, 12-syllable mantra to worship the Lord Krishna. So this mantra, one second. This mantra starts with Omkar, and that's why it's also called Pranam mantra. And it is believed that those who are not Brahmanas cannot pronounce this Pranam mantra. But Dhruva was a Kshatriya, right? And he was allowed to chant it on the authority of Narad Muni. And Srila Prabhupada says that it is very significant. That's how we see even Srila Prabhupada allowed few things for devotees in Western countries, right? That was the authority of Srila Prabhupada, like worshipping the deities in the temple altar by women. Those things are not going on in India, but by the authority of Srila Prabhupada, we follow those things here. So authority of the personality who is in the authoritative disciplic succession is very significant. And such things are allowed on the authority of Srila Prabhupada for us because he's a Nitya Siddha and he comes to the material world with the mission of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But we see in India that the Brahmanas object usually others who are pronouncing those pranam mantra. But this is the proof that a person who accepts the Vaishnava mantra or Vaishnava way of worshipping the deity is allowed to chant pranam mantra. So he need not have taken birth in the Brahmana family, because just because you have taken a birth in Brahman family does not make one Brahman. He needs to have that Brahmanical qualities. So if one has those qualities, Krishna accepts that person, although he's from a low species, or one becomes eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada further explains how one should receive the mantra in a disciplic succession and chant without fail, and also offer the foodstuff that is available in the part of the world that we are staying in according to the according to time and convenience. That is also mentioned in the translation it's spoken by Narad Muni. According to your time or the place or circumstances, we can offer the foodstuff to the Lord. So this is not something that Srila Prabhupada is saying on from his mind, that you can offer whatever is available. It is actually coming from Narad Muni that we can see here. So Srila Prabhupada says that one should take consideration of the time, place, and available conveniences. Sometimes some Indians criticize that these things should be done like this only, it has to be done like this only in a certain way. But Narad Muni himself has given the instruction that it can be done based on time, place, and circumstances. Sometimes what's possible in India may not be possible in other countries, right? So those who do not know how to act in the line of acharyas, they criticize ISKCON movement unnecessarily. And we have seen Srila Prabhupada also has faced many criticism like this. People have criticized that Srila Prabhupada has changed many things. It shouldn't be done like that. But Srila Prabhupada has allowed to do those things based on the time, place, and circumstances. So some people criticize because they are not able to go out and preach the way ISKCON is doing, and by taking lots of risks. So Prabhupada mentions that gives a special mention about Srimad Veera Raghavacharya in the disciplic succession of Ramanuja Sampradaya, who also has mentioned that Chandalas or conditioned souls who are born in lower than Shudra families can also be initiated according to circumstances. So the formalities may be slightly changed here and there to make them Vaishnavas. So you see how they were compassionately so flexible that they are able to accept any personality, and whatever you can, and they're also allowing whatever is available, you can offer it to the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also had recommended, right, that his name should be chanted in every nook and corner, considering Parupakar, like Paradukha Dukhi. We should be compassionate to spread this name in each and every corner of the world, and take this Lord's message to everyone in the world. So that's what ISKCON is trying to do by taking all the risks. So one should not think that only Indians or Hindus should be brought into Krishna Vaishnava cult. That's what Prabhupada is saying. That's a wrong concept. And Prabhupada also gives a special mention about book Hari Bhakti Vilas by Srila Sanatana Goswami, where Sanatana Goswami has mentioned that a bale metal can turn to gold when mixed with mercury in a chemical process. So by the bona fide Diksha or initiation method, anyone can become a Vaishnava. So everyone is eligible to take up to Krishna consciousness and get initiated by the authorized spiritual master. This is what is mentioned in the purport. It's a beautiful purport. Maybe this can be one of the purports which we can read. So 55 again mentions how one should worship the Lord by offering water, pure flower garlands, fruits, vegetables, newly grown grass, small buds of flowers, or even skins of the trees and tulsi leaves, which is especially very dear to Lord Krishna. So in regard to tulsi leaves, Srila Prabhupada says that devotees should take particular care to have tulsi leaves in the temple and center of worship. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada remembers his disciple Srimati Govinda Dasi, whose name is mentioned in the purport, who made efforts to grow tulsi plants in USA in the beginning days of the ISKCON, like when it was very, very difficult to have tulsi plant in USA. People did not know about tulsi plant much, and it was very hard to have her in here. In India, she is abundantly available. It's each and every house almost have tulsi plant in the home, but it was very hard to have tulsi in USA. So there is an article by Her Grace Govinda Dasi, she in Back to Godhead, which I just came to know that where she describes about all her efforts and how all her efforts to grow Tulsi plant in USA, and how then Srila Prabhupada was pleased to see her efforts to grow Tulsi plant, and he was really pleased when he first time saw the first Tulsi plant in USA, which was grown by her. And later she started to guide many other temples in USA like that by sending them Tulsi seeds along with the instructions on how to grow her correctly. So later she gets to know that Srila Prabhupada had mentioned her name in this purport. So that time she says, what she says in that article, I would just like to read that. Only then did I become truly aware of the importance of cultivating Tulsi plants. When she got to know that Srila Prabhupada had mentioned her name in the purport, she says, only then did I become truly aware of the importance of cultivating Tulsi plants. I realized that my initial attraction to Tulsi and my obsessive desire to grow Tulsi plants, though not inspired by a direct instruction from Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada had not directly instructed her to grow Tulsi plants in USA. It was her own desire to please Srila Prabhupada, and she herself took those efforts. But they were communicated from within the heart by the Lord to please and assist Srila Prabhupada in his mission. That's what she says. I felt humbled and joyful that even in my ignorance, I had been given an opportunity to serve him in this way. So in that article, she also mentions, why I'm mentioning it, I'll let you know. It is just additional information. In that same article, she also mentions how she was later engaged by Srila Prabhupada to take care of Vrinda Kund in Vrindavan. And it was initially taken care by Madhav Baba in Vrindavan. But he was concerned, he was becoming old, so he was concerned who will take care of Vrinda Kund in Vrindavan after him. So it was given to ISKCON to take care. Because he had a faith that ISKCON will take care of Vrindakund nicely. So later Govinda Dasi and His Grace Dinabandhu Prabhu started to take care of it along with other devotees. And Dinabandhu Prabhu is still taking care of Vrindakund in Vrindavan. And why I'm sharing this, because coincidentally today is the disappearance day of that Madhav Baba who was taking care of Vrindakund in Vrindavan, and who handed over this to ISKCON. So there is a beautiful description in the same article about how he departed at Vrindakund beautifully. So there is also mention about, just I gave this additional information because coincidentally it happens to be his disappearance day today. So there is also mention about other paraphernalia like water, which needs to be clean and clear, because in other countries, there are no sacred river water. There is no sacred river water available, right? Like Ganga or Yamuna. But if you're using other water, that needs to be clean and clear. And we can, of course, recite the prayers and mantras to invoke the holy sacred water, river water, to that water. And then flower garlands, fruits, vegetables should be collected according to country and availability. So one cannot just offer anything else to Krishna according to one's own whims. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. Whatever is mentioned, just offer that. It can be even simple. Whatever fruits or vegetables available, you can offer that. And usually vegetables and fruits are easily available in every part of the world. 56 further explains about Narad Muni instructions to Dhruva that the form of the Lord must be made of physical elements like earth, water, pulp, wood, and metal. Since Dhruva was in the forest, he could make a farm with earth and water because that was easily available for him, and worship according to above principles. So he could eat whatever fruits and vegetables that were easily available in the forest. In the purport, Prabhupada specifies the importance of worship of the Lord and not to follow the path of impersonalists. So that's why Srila Prabhupada always stresses on the part of deity worship. Why? Because impersonalists, they don't believe in the personal form of the Lord. So they don't believe in the deity for worship. So we should not follow that path who meditate on something impersonal, and they can anytime fall down from that path. So Dhruva was advised to offer and eat whatever was easily available in the forest, like fruits, vegetables, and Prabhupada further gives instructions that devotees should be anxious, should not be anxious about cooking food. Whatever is available in the forest or in the city among the fruits and vegetable groups should be offered to deity. And the devotee should be satisfied eating that. He should not be anxious to have very palatable dishes. Or he should not hanker to satisfy the tongue with a particular kind of food stuff. The devotee should be satisfied to eat whatever prasad is available by the grace of the Lord. This is further instruction Prabhupada gives in the purport. And then 57, Narad Muni instructs Dhruva to also meditate on the activities of the Lord in various incarnations. So see how nicely he's giving the instructions step by step, that how we should perform, meditate on the form of the Lord. That's why he describes the beautiful form of the Lord. Then how he can offer the food, fruits, vegetables, flowers, everything. How he can make the form of the Lord with earth and water. And now he's also saying, now you can also meditate on the activities of the Lord in the various incarnations that were performed by his supreme will and his personal potencies. So along with deity worship and chanting mantra, he can also meditate on the pastimes of the Lord. Somebody's on it. So all these are some of the 9 prescribed practices like hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, serving, offering everything to the deity, etc. So Prabhupada mentions about Mayavadis again here, who take the incarnation of the Lord as same category as the ordinary living entities. They think that how a soul accepts any body when someone takes birth, like some souls are in the animals, some are in the human beings. They think that it's the same for the Lord also just accepts the body like how we are doing it, but that is completely wrong. It's a wrong concept. It is completely different from our birth, and we take in a particular body as per our karma, but Lord is not has nothing to do with the karma. He appears in various incarnations with specific reasons, like he takes a certain form, or he takes a certain form to protect his devotees or destroy the demons. So it shouldn't be considered as ordinary. It's not like how we take birth. Lord does not take birth in a similar way. He comes with a mission, and one is meditating on the pastimes of the Lord. It is as good as meditating on the form of the Lord. And chanting of Hare Krishna is equally valuable, which is also given in the Shastras. So 58. And Narad Muni gives the alternative here he gives alternative if one is not follow the worship with the prescribed paraphernalia, like which is mentioned above, one can offer within the heart also mentally by reciting the mantra, because Lord is non-different from the mantra. So we can also offer mentally everything to the Lord, like flower, water, chandan, conch shell, umbrella, fan, chamar, everything, etc., by thinking about him and meditating on the 12-syllable pranam mantra. Prabhupada says such are the liberal and potent facilities in the process of devotional service. So those who are not in a situation to offer all this paraphernalia physically to the Lord, then they can also offer it mentally. But that also needs a certain level. We all cannot do on the level that we are practicing now. It is very hard to concentrate the mind, focus, and offer. So as much as possible, we should always try to offer it physically. And only if it is not possible, very rarely, then we can accept this, because only those who are very much elevated souls who are at that level can easily do it. Our mind is still not very stable, and that needs some certain level. So that's why we should practice every day offering it personally, physically, or personally to the Lord. So 59 and 60, these are the last verses. They mention that devotees are placed by the Lord as per his desire by engaging themselves in the devotional service seriously and sincerely. So if a devotee desires some dharma, artha, kama, moksha, then he is awarded with those results. So with whatever desire a devotee is worshipping the Lord sincerely, Krishna accepts that and awards that devotee accordingly. Prabhupada says in the purport that conditioned souls are very much attached to the material world. We have been attached birth after birth, birth after birth. We are attached to this material world. So they want these material benefits by performing these religious rites like dharma, artha. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Like people come to him with various desires apart from dharma, artha. Like some are very stressed and some really want to know about Krishna. They are about the truth. They are very curious. So in whatever way devotees coming to Krishna, Krishna accepts them and grants them according to their desires, looking at their efforts and sincerity. But what do the pure devotees of Krishna do? They do not look at they do not look for all these things. They just want to serve, only and only serve Krishna, and that's how they are welcomed in Golok Vrindavan by the mercy of Krishna. So actually, even though other devotees are coming to Krishna through other intentions, gradually they get purified and they get to know what needs to be done actually and how we can follow the path of pure bhakti. That also happens according by the mercy of Krishna, according to one's acceptance and submissiveness that one has while following this path of bhakti. So this is a little bit about all these verses. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Please forgive me if I have said anything wrong or if there are any corrections, please let me know. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the opportunity. I'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
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 Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyo cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you for the wonderful class, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for opportunity always. Hare Krishna.